Welcome back, everyone, to Stoke Hunters, where we dive into the essence of adventure with those who live it like every day. Tonight, we're joined by the Franklin family, Robbie, Alyse, and their 4 daughters, Reed, Rowan, Collins, and Rue. From Sherwood Park to Kelowna, this family has made the great outdoors their playground, embracing everything from snowboarding to skateboarding and beyond. Robbie and Alyse, who began their shared adventure with the snowboard proposal, have passed down their passion for the outdoors to their daughters, nurturing a lifestyle filled with adventure and unity. Join us as we explore how the Franklin family chases good days, balances a life filled with diverse activities, and inspires positivity through their incredible journey. Let's get inspired by the power of family, adventure, and outdoors. Welcome, Franklin family.
Hi.
Hi there.
How are things out in Kelowna?
Good.
Talking a bunch tonight. Yeah, the sun's out. The weather's been nice the last few days. So yeah, you're definitely seeing spring. Flowers are out. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, we had I think like 2 inches of snow last night, and then it's all gone already. So we woke up to an ice pit because it was raining when it started, and then yeah, it's now back to dry pavement.
I remember those days.
So from the previous podcast, what we always do is we like to have a question from last week's guest ask this week's guest a question. So Ryan from the Giver Foundation out down in Roslyn, BC, he wants to know, what are you guys looking forward to most in the future?
What are you looking forward to?
Well, I don't really know. I'm looking forward to go to the beach.
The beach?
Probably trying my stuff on the skateboard and snowboard.
Skateboard and snowboarding, yeah.
Probably improve at snowboarding and get my hair up.
Yeah, snowboarding. Yeah, and Rowan's a dancer, so she's looking forward to getting her aerials down. So
Nice.
She's the one that's going to be kind of the craziest on the slope style side of things, I think.
That's sweet.
And then, yeah.
I'm trying to get my back bend done.
Back bends, yeah.
Nice. Yeah, there's a lot of nice beaches down in Kelowna and Vernon.
Yeah, we're looking forward. We do enjoy our winters, but it's also you get a beautiful summer here too, so it's good.
Yeah, it's crazy because it'll be like, not cold in Kelowna, and then go out to Big White and it can just be like dump 30 centimeters.
Yeah, it's like that for sure. There were a few people recently that were doing the go snowboard or ski in the morning, and then you're down here golfing in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, our ski season ends May long weekend, so that's what I have a few friends who will go skiing in the morning, then they'll go canoeing, and then end it with golf.
Oh, that's the Olympic triad. I love it.
Yeah. So with skateboarding and snowboarding, do you find a lot of the skills transfer over, like working in what you can do on the summer balances back for the winter?
Yeah. I just learned today I learned, sometimes I do my toe edge and I learned it.
Yeah. So I would say so. Like when we kind of walked through it, I started snowboarding late. I was kind of into my early 20s. I'd done a little bit of skateboarding prior, nothing substantial, but I could get around on a skateboard essentially. And I would say that kind of watching what these guys can do now, we have a little mini ramp down the road that they go and visit. And so learning how to just drop in and getting that confidence of just dropping in and learning how to turn. I think that's been a nice little thing that they actually took from snowboarding, we're able to bring to skateboarding. And they're giving that a go now. So it's exciting to see where they can take it.
Yeah, that's sweet. Skateboarding, it's kind of like mountain biking. It's like, it seems like the more painful sport if you wipe out.
Yeah, Collins had a good one not too long ago where she kind of jammed her jaw and she was hurt for a bit.
Yeah, if you can drop in on a skateboard, you can drop into anything on a snowboard.
Yeah.
Can you share your move from Sherwood Park to Kelowna, because they seem so vastly different?
Yeah, when we were out there, I was a school teacher, and then I got into administration out there, and Alyse was a nurse, and so we were out. Kind of grew up there in beautiful River Valley. Enjoyed that immensely. everything from the cross country bike trails to just hiking and whatnot when we went through there. And kind of like, I don't know, my memories of the River Valley are you forget you're in Edmonton. So when you kind of say like you forget you're sometimes in Kelowna, the River Valley was like that for us for sure. And when we did our holidays, we're always coming out into the mountains. We're kind of always chasing mountains. And finally we decided that maybe we'll make that our life, not just kind of our holiday. Right. And Reed was just about to start kindergarten, and I was able to get a job out here, and they're hurting for nurses at the time. And so Alyse was able to get a job pretty quickly as well. And we kind of pursued that just outdoor life. And the kids were at an age where they were still pretty young. Rue wasn't even around yet. And just were able to kind of take that bit of passion that we had back in Edmonton, but the minus 30 days kind of put a damper on some of the outdoor stuff, and we don't really get that here. So
yeah, it's wild. Like I remember when I was doing my first degree up here at U of A, the winters were like barren wastelands. Like, you would like from December to like April, it was just like minus 20 all the time. And then recently my wife and we moved back 2020, and like now there's only like a week of cold, and it's like January, and it's like wild.
Yeah, well, fair enough. Yeah, it's we had one day, well, maybe about 3 days this year where that vortex kind of came down and hit us at Big White, where we saw the minus 30, but we saw sun, which was also really nice. That's one thing that Kelowna can get pretty cloudy. So
yeah. You guys sounded like you did a lot of adventures in Sherwood Park. How did it change from like Kelowna to Sherwood Park? Like, was it like, did your adventures just like, were you outside a lot more, or was it very similar to the amount of
I would say that like what we did. So the good group of friends that we kind of had, we always would go to Jasper. Like we'd head up to Jasper and go snowboarding. So it was just kind of like traveling to the mountain part was there. But like a few buddies of mine, we went and did adventure racing and quite enjoyed that. So we did that until my body stopped enjoying that and put myself through that bit of pain. So that part was always kind of there, but it felt like we were always just having to go to places to do it. Whether that be something like we'd go out to Elk Island National Park and do geocaching with the kids or something like that, and go check out the buffalo. And we would enjoy that frequently, but it always felt like we were kind of like going. And now where we are here, it's literally out our window, and we can get to wherever we need to get to. So the mountains, it's only an hour from our door to right to being on the hill at Big White. So it's a blessing that way.
Yeah. What made you guys, how many cities were you looking at, or towns, when you were looking at that move?
Yeah, great question. So I had lived in Cranbrook for one summer, and we were like, I worked for the Boys and Girls Club while I was kind of doing my education degree, and again, fell in love with just the mountain life. So lots of biking every night, and that was kind of like, hey, I can do this small town BC thing. Alyse is a little bit bigger city. So she was like, I think the smallest I can go is Kelowna. And myself, I was going, let's go to Revelstoke or someplace like that. So I had maybe a little bit of a smaller mentality, like smaller town mentality. But as is in our relationship, Alyse is usually right. And so we ended up making our way to Kelowna, and yeah, it's been awesome. So we got the lake here, obviously for the summer, and her family comes out here in the summer as well. So it's nice to have them around. So
yeah, 100%. Always nice when the activities are close by.
Yeah.
So snowboarding's kind of been a significant part of your life, you'd say. Can you tell us about the moment you knew it would be forever intertwined with your family story?
Yeah, with our family story. So we, Alyse and I were coaching volleyball together, and we would frequently, whenever we went to different tournaments and whatnot, coaching, if it was in Calgary, we'd go like the next day and we'd go snowboarding. We'd head up down to Sunshine or Louise and kind of make a longer weekend out of it. So that was always something we enjoyed doing when we were just friends at the time. And it kind of evolved from there into a relationship. But she was going to go on a nursing trip, ski trip with all of her nurses when she was graduating from university. And so she went to Kimberley for that. And I decided that I was going to surprise her. And we got some friends to take her down a certain run that I happened to be on. And I was on 180 at the time when she came down. And she said yes, that was good. So we kind of had snowboarding as a big passion of ours from there. And just all the friends that we had kind of back home in Sherwood Park would join us on those trips and had a blast. And so it was always something that was important to Alyse and I. And the part that I think was really important from there is it was something we could always share and do with other people. And when we decided that we were going to have some kids, it was one that we said that like we want to keep doing with our kids growing up. So rugby was actually my main game kind of when I was back in Sherwood Park. And my dad played rugby when he was younger and we played for the same club, but can't really play with your dad when you're 17 and he's kind of 40. It's not easy to do. Some people can do it. It's very rare though. And it was one thing that we decided that, we want to always be able to do with our kids. So yeah.
Makes sense. Was that like the Druid Rugby Club out there?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. My dad played for them back in 1963 when he came across from Australia. And then I would have been in mid 90s. I was playing there. So
nice.
Yeah.
So what, for all four of you, what was something you guys worked on or a trick or something that you are super happy you guys pulled this year?
What was the biggest thing that you learned in snowboarding this year? Toe edge? Yeah, toe edge. Rue went from kind of just remembering how to get down using the backpack leash system that we have to now she just rips. Like she keeps up with everybody else. We're not waiting in lines or anything. It's a lot of fun. So getting her toe edge this year has just been a game changer for speed. So
I go really fast.
Nice.
Rowan, how about you?
Colin's going.
Okay, Collins.
Probably landing my 180s and getting a lot of air on the jump.
Yeah, 180s and then hitting the large kickers.
And my second thing is the jump.
Yeah, you got to jump in as well.
Nice.
Mine's probably my roast beef or chicken salad, and then also landing, getting my 180 down every time I try it.
Has to go into the office.
I know. Mom's just getting back, so she'll join us here in a second.
Sweet.
Yeah, so Rowan had a good year. She ended up winning the slopestyle BC Provincial Series at Big White. She beat her older sister, which was entertaining for the family to deal with. So
I was in one of the clubs.
Yeah, you were also in the club too. Yeah.
So how many more years, or has it been this year where you're the slowest one now?
Where I am?
Yeah.
Well, so we did the bank slalom the second last weekend, so at Easter, and I legitimately tried my best as hard as I could go, and Reed beat me by 2 seconds. So I still beat all these three, but it's not going to be much longer.
We have the weight advantage, so that'll just pull us downhill right now.
Well, that's what I would have hoped for, but it still didn't work.
Oh. What's a typical adventure day look like for the Franklin family?
This is Alyse, by the way. She's here now too.
Hey.
So a typical adventure day, I would say I have an idea where I want to go, and then Alyse makes it happen. And so when it comes to organization, prepping food, all of those kind of behind the scenes things, she's so good at it. And she kind of gets all those things that I probably would forget in order. And then I'll grab kind of the hard goods, we need the bikes. So I'll go get those. And then just kind of set some of that stuff up while she takes care of all the fine tuning of travel with 4 kids. So, yeah, there's a lot. As you can see, they're busy.
Yeah.
They're fun. They're busy.
Yeah, it's the same. I'm good at loading the car, and then my wife does everything else. It's she plans the food, the meals, this, and it's I did not realize all this stuff that goes on in the background.
Yeah, it's impressive. And we've gotten better at it. So we used to like fill up the car, and then you're like, oh, we didn't use this, we didn't use that, we didn't use this. And now we're kind of, I think we've kind of snowboarding anyways. We've got dialed in pretty good. Biking, we still kind of maybe overdo some things, and always, no matter what we do, we seem to underdo water. So can't bring enough water.
Cargo box on the top, and then
yeah, that's what we got to start doing. Just load it up.
Do you have like one of the six person bike racks on the back?
We have a 4, and then I have a truck, and so I load 2 more bikes in there. But it's we fill it up pretty good for sure. And then we have to bring another vehicle because the truck only takes 5, and with 6 of us, so Alyse will have to bring the van up as well. So.
Oh, a van. I was like, when you said truck, I'm like, do you have a rule where you're not allowed to have a minivan as a family?
No, we got the minivan for sure.
My wife is like anti minivan. I don't know why. You can fit so much stuff in there.
Until you get a minivan.
Well, I had one for when I used to work for Labatt. I sold beer rurally. They gave us a minivan because you could just fit so much stuff in it, and it was stow and go. Like, it was amazing.
So my brother worked for Bacardi, and he did the same thing. He had a minivan. This was his first vehicle. So yeah, you guys are similar in that.
It's so nice though. Like, the only problem is I think it adds like 15 years onto you when you're driving it. You're like, they're like, how old are you? 35? And you're like, no, I'm 18.
Yeah.
You guys have worked with several brands and, participated in a various of outdoor communities. How have these experiences influenced your guys' approach to the outdoors?
Well, how did you so we've worked with some of the snowboarding. Let's go with that. So which of the snowboarding companies that have kind of helped us out?
Well, Burton and Nitro.
Yeah, Burton and Nitro.
They've gotten us like boards and bindings and gear.
Yeah. So we were one day, I was at work, and Alyse sent me a text message. She said that through Instagram, at the time there's something called Burton Riglet, and they had reached out and said that, hey, we're looking for some ambassadors. Is this something you're interested in? At the time, I didn't do much for social media, and she said, "Is this a scam?" Essentially, and I was like, I got no idea. And so the more I started looking into it, the more I started reading about it, I'm like, I think it's actually legitimate. And anyway, so we reached back out and we said, like, hey, yeah, this is something that sounds really cool. And what does it look like? And what does it mean? And yeah, they essentially helped us out with some gear for the first couple of years. And in return, it was us being willing to share our story publicly online, and putting our kids out there and dealing with kind of that side of, I guess, my apprehension around what does social media and the publicity of your children. I mean, there's going to be mixed opinions on that with what we do for sure. But yeah, so anyways, for us, it became like, hey, this is something that's really awesome, and they're helping us out, and we're getting some gear that we would do anyways. And we're living far away, and we're sharing this with originally just like our families, but hey, maybe we can let other people know how cool this is. And there's so Burton really came through with us for sure for the first couple of years. With
3 years.
Yeah, we did 2 years with them, and then they kind of had their program, they sunset it, and so it kind of no longer exists. And at that time, I said I'd reach out to a buddy of mine that I went to high school with, and I said he works for Nitro, and gave him a shout and said, hey, this is what we do. We've had a couple of videos go viral, and kind of like to share our story. And it's been really neat to see like other people all around the world kind of reach out and go, hey, so you guys started snowboarding, like not skiing, and just asking questions and reaching out and networking. And it's been kind of a really cool experience for me anyways, to kind of share that journey with people. And I don't know if I'm not the one that inspires, it's the girls that do. And I just document it, which is kind of for me on the side, but they're the ones that got going at a young age, and you just hear me huffing and puffing in the background trying to keep up.
You're the Instagram, or you're the Insta 360 tripod, and they're the.
That's what it is. Yeah. And so then from there, like, it just kind of took off, and you do a couple little one thing led to another, and then they came through, and then Insta360 hooked us up, and there's another company that's really cool called Roarsome that we're really they do all the caricature outfits, and so we got like a Spider-Man one for Collins this year, and there's an astronaut one, or NASA astronaut, and then you got like the bunny and the bees, and so it's kind of cool just to kind of go through and share all that. And then Alyse and I got one too this year. It was a lot of fun when we went to the music festival, and we were all bundled up as I was a Yeti and she was a leopard. It was fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
What's kind of been your favorite or a particular memorable collaboration or community event that like sticks out the most?
Yeah, that's what I would say too. What are you thinking?
Big White or Chasing.
So there's two that happened this year. A lot of the other stuff we would kind of do, and then I guess we would get gear or equipment. Those are the kind of things that we would be reimbursed with. This year, Big White had us work as ambassadors for them, and it was a lot of fun. We went through and just did a big connection with a lot of the people that work at Big White. So there's two things that this year that stand out. One was they did a big kind of promo film thing where the girls would be snowboarding down, and then you had guys that were really good skiers and cinematographers, and they would be carrying the stuff and getting them all. And so then they had Olympians that were hitting the big stuff, and then there's going to be like us. And by us, I mean them. Not me. And it's going to have them cruising up and down and kind of like showing what the future of a family mountain looks like. So that one stands out in my mind. And then just through networking, the other big one I would say is Chasing Sage. His name's Robert, good guy. Just networked around dads taking kids out on snowboards. And his stuff has really inspired many people and blown up on the internet and all sorts of things. So he's made a lifestyle out of it now. Yeah. We're not quite like that, but he reached out to me and said, "Hey, we're thinking about coming up to Big White," and said, "We'd love to meet you and ride with you." And just had a blast sharing times with his little kids. And it was really, really cool to see like 6 little Groms all ripping down a mountain, 4 adults. There's all 10 of us taking up a huge run and just watching other people going, what are all these little kids doing on snowboards? Like, they're ripping. It's so much fun. And so it's kind of showing people that it can be done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's Robert's from Fernie, right? Is that correct?
No, that's Eric. So he does that mountain life. He's the skier. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
so he's Fernie. Robert. Yeah, he's Pacific Northwest. He's from the States.
Okay, is he the one who mics up his kid in the trees? And then those videos are so funny.
Yeah, well, they say the darndest things, man. It's the best.
Oh, here's a jump. Oh, gonna hit it.
Yeah.
Yeah, those videos. And dinosaur suit, right? Usually, or I guess
that was the dinosaur suit guy.
Yeah.
And then also the little one always wears a tutu.
Yeah,
tutu and dinosaur suit. Yeah. Have you guys picked out your suits for next year yet?
Well, probably just hand-me-downs and like.
So here's the nice thing about having 4 girls. We do get some stuff. We don't get all sorts of stuff, but when we do have stuff and don't get stuff, we get to hand stuff down.
Lots of our stuff we got this year, so we probably will have that for another year.
Hey, that's the most important, right? Reuse and sustainability. Like, I don't think people need to get new gear every time. Like, that's why we made our goggles modular. If you get a new jacket, swap out a strap and keep your frames, or you get a new helmet and you have that gap, like swap out the frame rather than everything else. Like, we're in a place where Edmonton no longer has -40 winters, and everyone will say that's a good thing, but that's climate change through and through.
No, I'm in agreement with you on that. Yeah.
Yeah, like, I don't know. Last year was bad. Well, you guys felt it too. Like, we were burning in April, and then you guys Kelowna had the fire right on the edge on the west side.
Yeah, we could see it from our front window there. We watched it progress. It was spooky.
Scary, yeah.
Also jumped the lake. So.
Yeah, we saw it jump the lake as well. Yeah, we saw it float on both sides.
Wild.
It was scary.
Yeah, 100%. We can do so much, but when nature wants to go, there's no fighting Mother Nature.
Yeah, no. So we're lucky. We get to do a lot of the hand-me-downs, and then now they've got younger cousins that are getting into it too, so it continues past that as well. So
Nice.
yeah.
So you guys get out quite a bit. Being outdoors is a big one, and probably appreciating nature. What are some ways you've found effective in instilling this appreciation?
Well, you tell me, what do you appreciate about being outside?
Well, like, I don't know, it's like very, like, lots of kids don't just get to do it, so I'm just happy I can do it.
No, that's fair enough. A lot of kids, snowboarding isn't cheap for sure. And so when she says a lot of people don't get to do it, she has an appreciation of the financial aspect of that. So that's, you're right. I would say from an environmental standpoint, the things that, I don't know, there's something just calming. You get to go outside and just be a part of something that's bigger than you. Like I don't know if it sounds like religious or something in a way, but it does. It sounds like it's esoteric and you're just in this beautiful place and there's no wind and big flakes, and I like it. So
yeah, the Church of Powder Day Saints.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And then we have some other cool things. Like last year we did a nice summer one actually out of a company at a Rocky Mountain house that I used to work with, a river guiding company called Gila Ventures. And we went out and experienced that with them, and then just showing them the different aspects of the river and what the water can do. And I remember myself when I was guiding out there, like the 05 flood that changed the river, and just watching the power of water. And you can see how nature, when nature roars, it knows how to roar, and you get an appreciation of what that looks like. So
yeah. And you being the Insta360 tripod and the girls being the show, how do you balance technology and outdoor time in your household?
You guys aren't on tech too much.
No.
I mean,
Like,
to do homework, I guess they go on it. But when we're outside and doing our things, like they focus on what they focus on. So if they're snowboarding, they're out there snowboarding and they enjoy like their friends. Rowan's lucky; she rides with her two best buddies as they get going. And then Rue doesn't really. She's 4, so her going out there, there's not a whole lot of people that are kind of doing what she's doing yet. And we're lucky. So I follow her around. It does. You are right. Like I'm on it a fair bit while we're doing it, and my wife will.
Pretty much my favorite one is Winnie the Pooh.
She likes Winnie the Pooh. My wife will remind me that, hey, you need to be in the moment as well, and so it is important. So you try and balance that. We did have, like, when you do the collaborations with Big Wade or whoever you do, you have to meet some of those things. But yeah, the thing I think I appreciated about riding with Chasing Sage was it was just riding, and you'd film for a little bit, but then you were just riding, and we just had a blast. So it was kind of remembering to keep in the moment, and they do a better job of it than I do, I think. So
yeah, for sure. I think with the technology like Insta360 and everything, like you can kind of like set it and forget it sometimes. And
the nice thing about the 360 is, you just hold it up, and so you can catch this kid at the same time you're catching this kid and this kid. It's the after part, the editing, then that takes up that. So you've ridden, and now you're going back, and you got to kind of figure it all out after. And yeah, that's the trickier part to balance that time for sure.
Yeah. Can you share a success story where you saw a real shift in one of your children's appreciation for the outdoors?
Okay, sure. Well, they've always appreciated the outdoors, but I think one of the big ones is you can just look at how they feel accomplished in what they're doing. And the outdoors has been the venue that happens in. So I'll point at Rowan right now. Alyse posted a video to her TikTok page, and what it was basically Rowan learning how to drop the rope for the first time on a wake surf. And so she was up there, and Alyse was kind of being positive, cheering her on and saying, "You can do it. I believe in you." And Rowan's like, "No, it's not happening. I can do this next year." And Alyse was like, "Next year's too long. Keep going." And so she dropped it. But then you got that moment where it was like you could just hear her eyes open up, and the smile came on her face, and she's realizing, "Hey, I'm in the wake, and I'm not going anywhere, and I'm doing it. And you could see just that skill take over. And that video went, a little bit crazy for her on TikTok. And I think people like to see that. And I like to see that. And you see the pride as that comes about. So yeah, there's an appreciation for the outdoors, but I think there's a secondary appreciation for what they're doing in the outdoors as well.
Do you remember that moment, Rowan?
Yeah.
Can you describe how it felt when you dropped that rope?
Well, like for a second, I was like, am I doing this or did I fall and I'm thinking I'm doing it? But then
Sometimes
I felt pretty good, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then just like, I don't know, being able to ride with a 4-year-old and watching her do it on her own as well. So it's the same thing. Like you take in everything in the mountain and the beautiful scenery and all of nature. And then at the same time you look and you got a little 4-year-old that's ripping beside you and you can't help but feel like this is pretty cool. So
I think this year with Rue finally like having it click and having it be like literally 10 years in the making to have our family ride all together. And then this year it was like, we get to the top of T-Bar and we're going down to the lowest point. And that's the mission, and just accomplishing that as a family and being like, okay, so all those days of her the crying and the fighting and the not wanting to come and the 10 snacks to bribe her to stay out and the extra hand warmers, like all those things, it finally felt worth it this year. Not that it wasn't worth it before, but just like, I don't know, you saw that light. Like it was like, this is what we've been working for.
So yeah, I know snacks are super important, and that's what I'm planning for when my daughter Addison gets bigger. But girls, what are the best snacks? Like, what makes you want to like?
Pink donuts.
The pink donuts are a hit for sure, and the hot chocolates at the hill. Yeah.
What do we pack that you like? Mini eggs,
Mini eggs.
fruit snacks. Yeah.
Nice.
Sour candies. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pocket candy's a real thing.
Yeah.
It is a real thing. Yeah.
Then you get older, and then there's pocket pizza.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's once you get out of school or out of your house, and then you're a ski bum.
Yeah.
The internet can kind of be like we talked about it, but it can be a challenging space. How do you strive to bring positivity through sharing your family's journey?
Well,
Well, it's interesting because there's a trend right now that says the bunch of people are putting it out there and they're sharing that in the internet or social media is fake. And been reading through a lot of those people's comments and some of the struggles that they're going with. And we don't share everything. So what you'll see with us is very real though. You'll see people that have accomplished things, and you'll see kind of what a culmination looks like, and you'll still see some falls, but we haven't gone through and really made our page about like, something that here's this epic big wipeout of somebody, unless Collins, who you kind of nicknamed her Crash, she's very proud of that. So she's like, Dad, you got to share that. So we'll do that. But it hasn't been about those kind of things to try to draw it. It's been really kind of just catching things as they go down and sharing a story that will come up out of it. So Rue loves to sing when she goes down the mountain, and she says the funniest things, and you kind of catch it, you put it together, and none of that was fake. It might not tell the whole story, like Alyse was saying, like she was having a hard time waking up that morning or whatever else. We still got out and did it, right? So it's not that maybe it's not the whole story, but it's certainly part of a story, and we really kind of focus on that and say that it can be done. And then
I think the other thing too is that we don't really engage when there's negative comments. Like that video of Rowan on the wake surf, there was lots of people that were like, she shouldn't do it like this, and she should have a helmet on, and this and this and this, and they give like negative, and we just don't really engage. Like I think it's pretty easy to get like a rat race of comments going that really spiral into something negative. But if you just don't engage and you just kind of let people have their opinions, let them have that safety screen in front to share it with no holding back, and don't take it to heart. I mean, if you're sharing positive things and people are being negative, that's says more about the people
Them
being
than you.
Yeah.
And to be honest, like out of all the things that have happened, it's been very rare that we've had a few, but it's been very rare. Most of the stuff that we get is very positive, very supportive. People that'll say like, wow, it's, your girls have helped our girls feel that they can do it. So that's the message that we want to continue sharing. It's one that's it's real in that sense, right? So people feel good about it. So it's good.
Yeah. With sharing your life online, have you faced any challenges?
I think the hardest thing is balancing it in our household. Anyway, like we have friends that we've talked to that have like taken influencing on as a job, and they've like now set time in their day to do that as work. Whereas when you're both working and you're juggling sports and activities, and the tension does kind of get high if you're on your phone. And so we're trying to balance that a bit better with just like making sure that we're mindful of what the kids see us doing on our phone versus what we're actually doing on our phone. Because they see, oh, dad's on his phone again, and they don't know dad's doing a reel that he already committed to. They could think, oh, dad's just scrolling Instagram. Like, so we're trying to be more mindful of just the time we spend on.
Yeah. Maybe one day we'll have AI robots that will just film and edit everything, and we can just live our life.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's tricky too, because from a personal level, like I do enjoy the creating part of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a bit of a downtime for me, and I like reliving those moments and putting something together and adding music that I like to it as well. So it's been fun doing it. But yeah, it can become overwhelming in time, because all of a sudden you look and go, oh goodness, I've been doing this for an hour or whatever. And what else could I have been doing in this time?
Yeah, 100%. What's been the best song that you've put to a reel this year?
Oh, Northern Attitude.
Noah Khan. I've used a few things from Noah Khan, and I'd say, yeah, that's those are the ones I appreciate the most. Northern Attitude, we really like. So
yeah. Well, and you talked about Altitunes, which is an amazing music festival at Big White. Rue got named after a DJ. It sounds like, and you know your music right off. You're like, this song for sure. It seems like music's been a big part of your guys' lifestyle too.
Yeah, so in high school I played in a punk band for a bunch of years. That was a lot of fun too, and it's really important to me anyways. So I play guitar, and our biggest show back in the day, we were at Grant McEwen. We opened up for Treble Charger, so that was a lot of fun. And and then since then I played with another buddy that I taught with, and we were just like a cover band, 2 acoustic guitars. He played the mandolin, I played a kick drum, and we just covered a lot of music. But that kind of took off, and we played a lot of weddings and corporate functions and Christmas things. And so then when we had kids, we really do believe in that. So Reed's in school right now. She's playing the flute. Rowan plays the violin. Collins wants to learn the guitar here, and she's about to start picking that up.
And I want to play the piano.
Yeah,
Nice.
And she sings too. This last one. So it's something that we do really love. We have a vinyl collection that we spin, and yeah, we do like our music as well. The arts are important.
Yeah, 100%. They just inspire creativity, right? When you have that song that's in the background, you can bob your head, and you kind of flow with it and do some fun stuff.
Oh, for sure. No, we definitely like that. So
it's kind of like skateboarding. Everyone will always ask you, can you kickflip? If you learn guitar, everyone's going to ask, can you play Wonderwall though?
Wonderwall is the first song that I could play and sing to at the same time. And everything else was kind of like, okay, I got to play guitar or I could sing, but then putting them together, I was like, oh, this is tricky. Wonderwall was the first one I could do.
Everyone knows it. It's a good one.
Yeah.
So raising a family is no small feat, especially with your adventure lifestyle. How do you and Alyse manage logistics of an active family?
Yeah, Alyse, come take this is your domain. Logistics is hers. Ideas are mine. Spending money on gear is mine. And then like logistics.
Execution.
Yeah, execution is definitely Alyse.
Well, I just think like we have a very big calendar that's full, and just communication and trying to have that balance of not over scheduling to allow for like things to just naturally come about and to be free to like this coming Sunday, we were invited to go climbing with friends. So like having enough open space to allow those things to naturally just happen, but being like scheduled enough that you know when things are going on. So we try to keep Sundays, like Reed has soccer on Sundays, most Sundays, but we try to keep Sundays for like family time. During the summer when Robbie's off, it's a little bit like more flexible and easy. We can kind of take off and do it around my schedule. But in the winter, we keep Saturdays for snowboarding, kind of regardless of what's going on otherwise. That's our snowboard day. And occasionally there'll be a conflict, but we kind of try to keep that open. And then in the spring, summer, we try to flip it to Sundays and keep Sundays open for like the things that we enjoy doing.
Yeah. So what happens if like 40 centimeters of snow falls overnight on like a Thursday?
On a Thursday, I cry because I gotta go to work. And if she's not working, she goes. Yeah.
No sick days for the kids yet?
No, they oh yeah.
Days. Yeah, they usually come with me. How many days of school did you miss this year for snowboarding, Ro?
2, 1, 2.
I think you missed a couple. Colin's got the most days in this year. She was 38. I think you missed 3 days of school.
3.
I have to do my school every day.
Yeah. Teacher can't call in a last minute substitute.
Yeah, no. They'll know where I am. That's the problem.
You just what do you teach?
So I'm a principal actually now. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, you're just having a leadership development day that also happens to land on the 40 centimeter snow day.
I would love that.
So I have friends who are teachers and they keep it quite separate. Is it hard to like do a lot of your kids follow you on social media?
My students? So
Yeah,
I'm at an elementary school. When I was at the high school as a vice principal, we did have a few kids that followed for sure, and some of the teachers. If I look through my like data that I get back through Instagram, it's mostly like 40-year-old, it's like 35 to 45-year-old women. I think people hear the name Robbie and they assume I'm a woman. So that might be a lot of it. But that's kind of the demographic that we hit predominantly. So it's moms. I get a lot of moms that comment and say like, your kids are so. That's kind of it. But a few younger kids that'll happen. But that Reed's in grade 6 now, so phones are like creeping in and we're getting a lot of like her friends now that are starting to follow. So yeah, the next 2 or 3 years that might change a bit.
Nice. Yeah, I have a friend who he puts positive manifestations on Instagram, and I was like, oh, like what are you? He's like, yeah, my followers are like 50 to 65-year-old women.
It is funny.
It's always so interesting who your content resonates with.
Yeah. Yeah. We get the last little bit. I've had a few more dads, which has made me happy. So that's good.
I'm surprised you don't have, or well, I guess you have Chasing Sage and then Eric. I'm surprised there isn't like an adventure dad group that you started.
Yeah, there probably could be. Yeah, it might not be me that starts it, but there's enough guys that are out there that are, oh man, like even just ripping around. You just see when Reed started snowboarding, so 10 years or so, she's about 10 years ago. So when you went in there, we were definitely an anomaly on the snowboard hills. Like we stood out. There weren't any lessons for snowboarding for up until probably like 6 or 7 years old. And we had a 2 or 3-year-old. So yeah, so Rowan and Reed actually started skiing and then snowboard with us in the afternoon after a ski lesson. But by the time Collins and now that Rue's in there, it's full of little kids that are on snowboards. So I think in part like gear, the MDX1 backpack has been a huge kind of game changer, and just like what the gear looks like and the safety equipment and things that you can get your kids out easier now. So that's been like a big game changer, but there's a lot more kids that are in it than even in the last 10 years. So yeah, Rowan agrees. So
did you
not
see
very often will she say I'm right, but there you go.
Did you see a big bump of families doing snowboarding during COVID too?
Yeah, you know what? We did. And I think that's one of the things that kind of took off for us with Burton was that's what we were doing. And we did a lot of indoor stuff too. So like we threw a bunch of mattresses downstairs in our basement and the kids would just like bounce on them with snowboards. And we took some pictures of it because video wasn't really out yet. So reels weren't a thing at that point. They were, but they weren't very big yet. And yeah, that kind of stuff kind of took off and kept going.
We would like pull Rue across the mat.
Yeah. And then when you have like Rue was brand new baby. And so it looked pretty cute when you kind of held her on a snowboard and people yeah.
When they're in the giant puffy, they look
totally yeah. When the snowsuit consumes their entire being, yeah.
What is like, so I was talking with my in-laws, they have kids and they were all in the Burton suits this year. And what I thought was cool was how they're like stitched up in the legs so you can cut the seam and then it gets longer.
Room to grow, yeah, for sure.
Has that always been a thing or has that just started recently?
Yeah.
Since we've been buying Burton, that's been a thing. And then their snowboard boots also have an insole that you take out and it gives it an extra size. So it has like a curve on the inside of the boot that when you take that insole out, that curve then pushes the toe out further. So you can get an extra year or an extra half a season or whatever, how fast your kid's foot's growing, but you get some extra time. Like Robbie mentioned earlier, with our nieces and nephews starting to snowboard now, and us always having gear to hand down, we don't often take advantage of that because by the time like Rue has outgrown the suit, our niece needs one. And so we just have passed it down, but it is a great feature if you don't have stuff to pass along.
And I think what's been neat too is I will say, like, I think Burton was probably the first company anyways that we were familiar with that was really getting into like getting 2-year-olds on the hill kind of thing on snowboards. But now there's more and more companies that are doing it. And I mean, we work with Nitro now, obviously, and they're so they're getting bindings that are smaller, boots that are smaller. You'll get different helmets from Gyro now that get smaller and smaller, as well as Anon, and so you're seeing that gear and equipment from a variety of companies now, and it means people are buying it, obviously. So more kids are getting out there.
Yeah, and I think, well, do you find if a family like goes with one brand at the start that they'll continue using that brand as they grow up, or?
I'd say most of the stuff we see on the hill today still is Burton when it comes to kids. I will say that
like outerwear.
Outerwear,
seeing a lot, like since Nitro brought out their kids boards, you're seeing a lot more Nitro boards on the hill too for little kids. And then,
we're looking for them, but we do see them now, so that's you're right. So I'd say Burton probably still has the niche, but it's growing, right? So
yeah. And speaking of your adventures and all the learning, how do you kind of incorporate learning and cultural appreciation into your travels and activities?
Well, yeah, anytime we do a road trip, you're talking to the educator now. I like to go through and be like, every time that Alyse likes to go from place to place, point A to point B. There's a reason and a rhyme, which is very type A, like that, and there's a timeline, and that's logistics over here. Where I'm like, ooh, there's a grove from a national park. Let's go. Check it out. So I'm a bit of the one that kind of pushes that kind of stuff. So what does the area look like? And we did a bit of a trip last year with Tequila, but we made sure we stopped through all the different parts of the national park that we could and take a peek at everything. We stopped through Revelstoke. We stopped through, the historic site at Rocky Mountain House and what happened with Hudson's Bay Company. And so it's just some of that historical piece. And and then the people that we work with at Gila we're also really amazing at talking about like flora and going through and explaining what the different plant life was and what the indigenous people of the area used it for. And so, I mean, Rowan's remembering it all as we talk back about it. It's like, oh yeah, there's this and that. So there's a lot of learning that can be done that I appreciate anyways, as my background is education. So it's one that I want to keep pushing and saying, like, hey, we're lucky to be part of this for a lot of reasons. A, the nature, but B, the people who tended to the nature before us. So,
well, and what I like before my mom passed away, I used to never stop, and then now I stop at everything, and it was kind of cool because I like Rogers Pass, like that visitor center. Like the thing that I find amazing is we have this backyard, and no one stops, and like they'll go to point A or like they'll go to point B, but they don't see all the stuff along the way. And so I decided on my way through Revelstoke, I was like, I'm going to stop at Rogers Pass, and seeing the history there, like that it was women who were the mountaineers there. Like, I thought that was so cool because, like, you normally like all our brands, all our products are named after women. So to like see like women's history being shown when normally it gets ignored was pretty. Like it was like kind of like, oh yeah, you should stop more. It was kind of like the hint I got from nature.
I love it. Yeah, no, I like when they have to go pee. We'll put it that way. It means we can stop and check out something. We got 4 little girls. That happens. So,
well, and I have a tiny bladder, so it's usually like every second. Yeah, I guess with little ones, it's probably pretty quick bladders, so you get a few more stops than. So yeah, I guess your the trip learning about flora and everything was kind of your most recent learning experience that you guys remember.
That was probably the most like purposeful, where there was a bit of a itinerary to doing that. But yeah, I mean, anytime we kind of go in, just you learn about the people too. So when we're snowboarding, riding with different people of all sorts of different cultures, like there's lots of Australians at Big White. And anytime we ride a chairlift, where are you from? Oh, how long have you been here for? And so just think you appreciate the appreciation aspect of what we do too, for a lot of different reasons, right? So the people and where they're from and what their background is, and celebrate humanity in a lot of nice ways. So yeah,
it's always cool how many different people can come together for a piece of wood strapped to our feet.
Totally. And just there's so many neat things too. Like Big White had a day that celebrated Pride, right? And so you go out there and you can just those different pieces of who people are. You can learn so much, and you can support, and and you're doing it while you're snowboarding. Like I don't know if you can beat that. So
100%. Looking ahead, what are some adventures or goals the Franklin family is aiming for?
Well, we got a few coming up. Don't know the timelines of it, but hopefully we're going to make our way back up through to Rocky Mountain House and do some work with Discover Rocky. So that will be something that we're excited about, heading back kind of home that way. Looking forward to the lake and all that is the summertime and wake surfing and getting on the mountain bikes again and getting that stuff up and running, and those things are coming up. And then potentially we're gonna do Christmas in Hawaii, so that'll be another big thing, and traveling around the world and seeing some new cultures that way too.
Some surfing, hopefully.
Oh yes. The world of we're gonna give it a go. And the Instagram world, there have been a few people that have reached out that are like, well, if you're ever down here, so who knows, it might make some connections. We'll go to the island. We'll go to the island as well every summer. We go and visit Soup this year. I think it's going to be a big one this summer.
When you guys come out to Rocky again, you'll have to come ride baseline with us.
That will have to sign me up.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and I've never met a friendlier community than the community at Baseline Mountain.
Nice.
Yeah, last year, so first year biking last year, I picked up a hardtail, and like Baseline's pretty extreme, and they're like, "You're gonna go down on that?" I'm like, "Yeah, do it a couple of times," and then they're like, "Here you go. Here's our second full suspension bike. Like, just go borrow this for the day." And I'm like, I was just floored by that niceness.
Yeah, I find that people are pretty friendly with their gear when they need to be. So
yeah, how do you envision your family's adventures evolving as your kids grow?
Well,
did they start to plan them?
Maybe that'll be part of it.
Reed's in outdoor ed right now in school, and she's going on like a backpacking trip in the end of May. And so I'm stoked for like the teachers and people to like show her how to plan and pack and do all the things so that she can like help and be, take some of a leadership role in planning and picking places.
Yeah, that's the part that kind of makes me a little bit sad is, and we found that this year with the 3 older ones that were in club, they ride all Saturday, and we were with Rue, so you'll see like a lot of videos of Rue, and it's not because I don't like the other ones, it's just I didn't get a chance to ride as much with them, and we are with Rue a fair bit, right? And we do make time to do a family run, and I hope we always will make time for that family run. Like no matter what happens, get the whole crew out there. We're going to do one run together as a family, and
at least one.
At least one, yeah, hopefully more. Yeah. So,
sorry. Does the run change, or is it tradition to keep it the same run?
Well, I video one the same way, and that wasn't on purpose. I took a video one year, or Alyse took a video one year. Just the Rue's little favorite run, which is kind of by Plaza Chair, and she goes down and she finds her little Winnie the Pooh cabin and whatnot. So Alyse took a video of that, and then last year I took a video and I didn't realize it was in the same spot. And so we kind of looked at those two things, and this year we purposefully did one where kind of shows the evolution of 3 years. Yeah. And hopefully I can kind of continue that trend for as long as I can.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you're gonna see real quickly though, it's gonna go from like a 15-second video to a 2-second video as they just fly by.
Yeah, 100%. For families looking to embrace more of an adventure lifestyle, what advice would you offer?
You can do it. Like, I think a lot of people get caught up in the world of like, that looks tiring or that looks exhausting, and I don't think I could do it. And it is tiring. Yeah, it is exhausting. But you say that. That's great.
You should try.
Like, I don't know. It's when you kind of get up and are doing it with them. And I don't know. I'm seeing that on the hill more and more. Like I see a lot of parents that are willing to take those kind of risks or chances where before, for whatever reason, you'd hear things like, in particular, we'll use snowboarding, but my kid can't snowboard yet. They have to ski first. You're not seeing that anymore. You're seeing more and more people that are just like, yeah, I mean, these guys can do it. Why can't we try it?
I also think like you see a lot of like the toddler meltdowns or whatever, and people get embarrassed or they're like, let's quit. We don't want to do this anymore. Like, but now you're seeing like camaraderie between families. Like you'll be on a hike and you'll see a toddler melting down, and then it's like, oh, look, I have some, we call them power-ups, like our treats. And it's like, here, I have some power-ups. And it's like a mini egg. And you give one to this kid with their parents' approval, of course. And they're just like, whoa. And then it like sets them up to like go forward. And you see that on the ski hill too, like a kid melting down before the gondola. And it's like, it's okay. We've been there. Like, it's just the encouragement that you get from other families, and like to just not be afraid because of the bad that might happen, knowing that that's just like all part of getting there in the end.
Yeah, it's hearing that, and it's like, it's funny how like as like a new parent you like feel that guilt sometimes, or you're like, from everyone you're like, am I doing it right? Am I doing this right? And it's like, like I don't think there is a right way. It's like you just help.
No, we can tell you there's lots of wrong ways because we've done it. but I don't know, listen to your kids. They're you want to balance that. Obviously you don't want to just not do anything. You want to be able to say like, let's give it a go. But they'll tell you when they're done.
They also like to quit one run before it's too late.
Yeah.
We say that all the time. Like, we could push it for one more, like a little bit further hike, or we could push it. But like just knowing when to quit and quitting so that they want more and they want to do it again versus like pushing it so far that it's a meltdown.
Yeah. Well, and I forget who I was talking to, but the advice that it was a parent talking, and a kid, and the kid wanted to quit the sport, and the parent said, okay, you're allowed to quit, but it has to be on a good day rather than like the bad day of quitting.
Yeah, it's wise.
Totally.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't quit because you're worried about failing right now, right? So
No, you can quit when you get gold or get silver, but you like or
totally.
have the good day when you quit. Not
That's
the,
that's some great advice.
what would be the first step you'd recommend for a family to be more outdoor oriented?
To be more outdoors?
Yeah.
Invest in good gear, but like I don't know if that's the first step because you want to make sure you're gonna like it. But like having the right stuff makes it really nice.
I think the first thing to do is I had a guy that told me this one time. He said, you're going to bring your kids out to do what you love to do. So they just become part of your life and whatever it is that you're doing. So we had the kids. It wasn't that we were taking the kids snowboarding. The kids were coming snowboarding with mom and dad. Like it was part of what we were doing. We were going to make that a goal for us. And that was going to be something that the family then would adopt. Like that was kind of the mindset. And then from there, we were able to say like, okay, in order to do this, A, safe, B, so that the kids aren't going to be miserable, we got to figure out what kind of stuff we need. And then that's where you should like the gears come a long way and everything, right? From bikes to the snowboards to whatever. So.
Yeah. And it's been super inspiring hearing how adventure runs through the very core of your guys' family. And I want to thank you guys for coming together as a family because I know it's hard to get everyone together to be on video. What question would you like to ask next week's guest?
Ooh. We were talking about that. I think the thing that I myself wonder with my kids is what scares you, and then how do you overcome that fear? So it's something when the kids kind of get going, like Rowan will be like, "I'm nervous to try this." So I'm like, why? What scares you in this, and how are we going to overcome that? So, question.
The thing that's helped me for this is because like with I'll get like the tingly feeling or like that little fear in the stomach is reframing that feeling. So it's no longer fear, it's excitement. And that's helped me get over some stuff.
Yeah. Well, I love it.
Yeah.
We do that too. Anytime there's change can be hard for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But it's an opportunity too, right? So.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we don't grow if we don't have hardships or hard things.
That's when you learn. Yeah, you're talking to get to the educator version of me. Yeah.
And finally, I always like to ask if someone listening today was having some bad days or not feeling good, what advice would you give them right now?
So I have a quote.
Yeah.
I'll take you back to some high school poetry in a punk band. But that's what I wrote it way back when. But if you look outside and see the sky is gray, horizons hold a sunny day.
That's good.
Yeah. So there you go. There's tomorrow.
Yeah. Thank you, Franklin family, for joining us and talking about good days. For all our listeners, to find out more about the Franklin family, you can follow Robbie on his Instagram at the Frank of Fam Jam. It's a great Instagram account. Always positivity, always having fun in the outdoor adventures. So thanks everyone for joining us tonight.
Yeah, thanks, Jared.